You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in once more to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
And we're not the only ones here.
We have a guest. Welcome.
Hi everybody, it's Justin Lowe. I'm back again, and once we get into the episode, I'm sure you'll all know why I'm back again.
From outside the bunker, he's calling in from a secured line on the Great Lakes area.
So since the last time you were on the show, you've made some changes, I think.
Yeah, we after 20 some odd years in the Columbus area, we picked up everything and moved to the west side of Cleveland. So it's a lot different, but it's all the same stuff. So we're enjoying it.
Well, we're talking Disney tonight. Specifically, D23 just happened.
That's right.
And when we have Disney questions or we're headed in the Disney direction, we know who to call. Our first phone call is to Justin Lowe.
That's right.
I had two surprises this week before we get into all of that. One, we had a sweet comment on YouTube. And two, we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
And we've had views on YouTube.
A website people use and go to.
Yeah.
So, from now on, every episode that comes out is also going to be on YouTube.
Hopefully.
In a perfect world. It'll have all the same show notes. And it's cool when we break it down into, we're talking about streaming at this point or movies at this point. You can click right on it if it's the timestamp. So if you want to skip... I don't know why you would, but if you want to skip, or maybe you skip forward to listen to your favorite part first. It's not about skipping the parts you don't like. It's about getting to the part you like. So, yeah, it's going to have links. It's going to have show notes, and it's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube.
What more do you need?
Yeah. We had a comment on one of the videos already.
Yeah, Mr. Terry W. Irvin II. We appreciate you commenting. Now, a little bit of behind the scenes, we kind of record our shows in bunches. So we can't always reply to the comments as they come in. So we may have seen your comment yesterday, or we may have seen it like 3 weeks ago. So we appreciate the comments. Don't stop commenting, maybe because we don't reply on air. We're not the dueling ogres. We can't be on top of this stuff like they are.
That's right.
Mr. Irvin is an author. He writes fantasy and sci-fi novels. You can check him out at www.irvin-author.com, ERVIN-AUTHOR.com.
Yeah, I ran into him down at the River City Artists Festival.
He has been coming to those for many years.
Yeah, he had a booth down there. So I stopped and introduced myself. I didn't expect him to really honestly know who I was. But yeah, I stopped and I was talking to him. And then Brandon from the Dueling Ogres came over. He'd just gotten there, I think. He was over there with his daughter. And I talked to both of them for a little bit and chatted for a little while. And then, I don't know. I think maybe he prefers YouTube to the podcast format.
That's one thing I don't know is how are people... I mean, we at the end of every show, we say, check us out on this, that, and the other. But we really don't know how you get your podcast. Do you listen to them on your phone? Do you listen to them in the car? So, yeah, we'd love to know. Comment. Let us know where you hear our podcast, what we should be focusing more on.
Your preferred way of consuming your entertainment.
Yeah, because it's possible that somebody has something out there that maybe we're not on that we don't know about.
Yeah.
So,
as crazy as it sounds, we're not on top of everything.
Yeah. So let us know if we're not on whatever, and we'll try.
But Mr. Irvin's latest series of novels, it's the Monsters, Maces, and Magic series. That's what's known as Lit RPG. So it's a prose novel, but it's starring characters.
I thought it meant it was lit.
I did too.
Fam,
That's
Yeet, it is lit.
That's very
all,
hip.
That's all the slang I know. I just used it in one sentence. But yeah, if you're a role-playing fan, it's taking those types of characters and telling a story. You're not rolling dice. You're actually listening to the story being told. So, yeah, his books are everywhere in print, like Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can find them. He's got audiobooks on Audible and iTunes. So you can find him just about anywhere you find the printed word.
That's right.
And we appreciate your listening.
And also, old Jesse. I think Jesse watches some of us on YouTube every once in a while. But he was saying the other day, he made a comment, messaged us, and made a comment that he was actually had to listen at regular speed to one of our shows.
That's the ultimate compliment.
It really is.
Yeah. He slows down for a minute.
So as long as we
takes it all in.
I think as long as we keep doing like musical shows,
yeah,
we got him there.
Yeah, he can't dance fast enough to keep listening to it at high speeds.
So we absolutely appreciate everyone that listens to us, and especially if you comment and let us know your thoughts on it as well. So thank you very much. And now on with the magic.
I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing, that it was all started by a mouse. This is where the early planning is taking place for our so-called Disney World project.
Mary Poppins, practically perfect in every way.
As you can see on this map, we have a perfect location in Florida.
Hello, I'm Michael Eisner.
We call it Epcot.
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all!
Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind.
We know what we hope to accomplish. And believe me, it's the most exciting and challenging assignment we've ever tackled at Walt Disney Productions.
Fun imagination, huh?
Yeah, so...
little known fact, every word Walt Disney ever said is in that bumper.
Just a few. Keep going. Keep going.
It could definitely be longer. That'd be okay.
Yeah, so we just finished up last weekend, this weekend.
Yeah, this isn't breaking news for D23. This is just our reactions to some of this. We can get some inside scoop from these Disney fanatics, but you probably heard about this, but we'll let you know what we think of it.
These guys have done a little bit deeper dive than you have, is my guess.
You may check your mail because you may have got a packet like he just handed to us.
Yeah.
Well, let's start at the beginning. What does
there was a mouse?
What does D23 mean? It's an odd name.
You mean for the fan club?
Yeah, I don't know what that name refers to.
Yeah, that is a good question.
Have I stumped him?
Well, I think the D stands for Disney. I'm going to take the easy one.
That's a good. That's a good
23 is for the year Walt Disney founded the company.
I knew it was a year, but I was thinking like Mickey Mouse was 28.
I did not mean that to be a gotcha question. I am sorry. That is.
Well, it's really weird because I am a member of D23, so
you never thought to ask.
Yeah, there were more important things going on.
So now we know.
Yeah, so we just had the D23 Expo out in Anaheim, California, and it was 3 days of magic. And I don't know how much I was expecting out of this one. I think we were all hoping for a little bit more than we got as a whole. And that's pretty much, been the criticism this year, because the last 2 years ago, the last convention we had, they announced so much.
Right.
And it really set the bar pretty high.
Like what? Remind us of something that last time.
Like Galaxy's Edge.
Well, okay, that's pretty big. We're just now getting it.
Yeah. So, yeah, and these are, most of the time these are pretty long-term stuff.
You wanted to find out that by 2 years from now, there was going to be a couple more big rides at Galaxy's Edge or something.
Well, what I wanted...
I was promised a private island.
Yes. Yeah. Was... Well, we got to...
Oh. I haven't gone that far in the package.
No, but I think because Universal jumped out ahead and announced, hey, finally, that even though everybody knew we're going to get another park at Universal Studios Orlando, at their resort, everybody was, I don't want to say expected. Some folks were hoping, hey, Disney's going to come out and they'll say, we're going to build a new park too.
Right.
Or something else spectacular.
Right.
Which we didn't get that. There was an announcement, oh, hey, we're going to have a special panel for a secret project. And, of course, that got everybody going, which, when it was announced, it was hit like a rock because it was a special documentary about cast members, right. Which in itself, that's fine, but don't make that big of a deal. Don't lead people on like it's going to be a huge announcement.
I could just see you guys had your streamers ready to throw and horns.
There may have been some horns.
It's just a documentary.
Yeah.
But it's a documentary that's going to be released in 50 individual 3-minute parts, and there's a massive coffee table book that's already available for pre-order, and I won't say that I have ordered it, but I have.
Yeah. So there you go. And I won't say that I've already pre-ordered or subscribed to Disney Plus, but I have. So November 12th.
Got a lot of big D23 energy in here.
Yeah, I got a big D23 discount is what I got. And really, I think a lot of this is going to be Disney Plus stuff. Some of this, I tried to mark down stuff we haven't talked a lot about. Most of the first day's announcement were basically Disney Plus.
Let's hear it.
So, first thing, the big thing was the Mandalorian trailer.
Yep.
I'm sure I'll stick it in there. I'm sure you guys watched it.
Bounty hunting is a complicated profession. Don't you agree?
It's good.
It's going to be I believe a first day available.
Yeah, November 12th.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. I thought it looked high quality. You had me at Werner Herzog. When they put him in there at the end of the trailer, that's what I wanted. It was like there's some, just his voice just sets that vibe, and I'm all about the Western feel to it. So
yeah, definitely very Western, I thought, and even that gun he has is very, looks like a big old rifle.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure even the biggest fans had to worry about taking this big budget epic and turning it into a TV budget, and worried, is this going to look like the Christmas special, or is this going to look like one of these big movies? And I, from the look of it,
though, Cliff's like, is this going to look like the Christmas special?
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, so I thought it looked very cool. I was a couple little things. I thought that was IG-88.
No, it's not
from Empire, but it's got a different name.
I think it's IG-11. Is that correct?
He was looking pretty badass.
Yeah, I love the droids.
And there's some sort of looks like maybe a team up between the two bounty hunters there.
I can't wait for this series. Like I would just get this for the show. Mm-hmm. So everything else they announced is gravy. Like it's an absolute must-have.
Yeah, we even got we saw you got a shot of people frozen in carbonite stacked up there. So I'm kind of curious to see where that goes. But anyways, yeah, I'm sure we'll stick part of the trailer in there. The other big Star Wars series announcement, I had old Ewan McGregor come out on stage with Kathleen Kennedy. And she asked him the big question there, are you going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again for us? And of course he is in that new Kenobi series.
That would be awkward if he wasn't.
Yeah. I know. Really put him on the spot.
It's like, no, but I'm going to watch that documentary you guys just announced. Yeah, I mean, I'm not overly hyped for this. One, because we've seen it coming for a long time now. And two, I'm a little... It feels a little Solo, a Star Wars story to me.
You think?
I hope it's not.
Yeah.
I've hopes for it to be something more than that, but it's got. I don't want to go back and see them just insert a bunch of things to hint at things that were in the original trilogy. You know, that I don't want to see his dice. You know, or whatever they would throw in there. So I'm hoping.
They were saying, I read today, I think they were saying the timeline is 8 years after Revenge of the Sith.
Right.
So that would put them, you know, that would put him
so obviously
established.
Luke and Leia are 8 years old.
Yeah, so Ben's been on Tatooine for a while. He's established, I'm sure, his little hut there, whatever he lived in.
I mean, everyone just pictures him fighting off Tusken Raiders, trying to get to the...
And they've said that's not going to be the whole series. He's going to go off planet even.
Right.
So
it needs to be
good.
Yeah, it needs to not be that. It needs to be a different thing. Like he is going to do something totally different that's super important. I was telling you guys offline that it's set in the timeline, that convoluted timeline they put up there of all the Star Wars creations that they will have on Disney Plus. I mean, a ton of stuff, all the movies and everything, all the shows, cartoons, and everything. But they, in the timeline, it's set in the middle of Solo, of that timeline.
Yeah.
It's in somewhere in the timeline of that movie, and so since we had Darth Maul, the return of Darth Maul in that movie,
and Solo,
and since he is such a obvious villain that goes along with Obi-Wan, they have to be coming in contact.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how much of that I really want to see, because they did it. They did this thing with Star Wars, the cartoon Rebels, and they did it really well as a final showdown. Like I was like, that's great. I am fine with that being the end all be. Right. You're
saying that's supposedly canon, so it should be. It shouldn't. Don't need
mess
to
with
redo
that.
it again. But I want to see. I want to see some of that. I kind of like the idea of them going up against each other some more. I want to see some more Darth Maul. Basically, is what I'm saying.
Well, and a lot of people do. Like Darth Maul is this character that had this very smallish part in that one movie.
He was a fan,
and then has
people like
become a big deal ever since. After death, So
I am looking forward to it. I have faith in them to do it right. I mean, even though I personally feel like they failed with Solo, and this is the same type of thing they're doing, I think they probably learned some lessons from that.
Yeah.
So they didn't make a bunch of money on that, and that definitely gets their ears perked up, and they changed some stuff. So I think that they could, do something great.
So do you think spider legs or no spider legs?
I want spider legs.
You want the spider legs? Yeah.
Yeah, I think the other interesting thing is with the Obi-Wan piece being set when it is in the Star Wars timeline, and the Mandalorian being set post Return of the Jedi, and all the Galaxy's Edge stuff being set, I guess, where we are currently.
Yeah, right now.
It's going to be really interesting to see how they sort of keep those things separate, because if you're a casual fan, and that's they're going out there trying to get the casual Star Wars fans, if there is such a thing. It's going to sound a little confusing, because you're going to have sort of overlapping timelines with these properties, and I think it's going to be a heck of a challenge to sort of keep all of that separate and in line. And I'm trusting that they've got a plan, that they've that they know where they're going with these things, so it doesn't just become a big convoluted time jumping mess.
Yeah, I actually hadn't even thought much about that, but yeah, that would be a
when
problem.
You have that many different things going on at once. I mean, if you make a mistake, if you have something that doesn't match up right, I mean that's a quite. They're spinning a lot of plates here that I hope they can pull it off, because people are going to want that to work. The serious fans, I am going to want to see that things are in distinct timelines.
Right.
If they're going to the point of saying Mandalorian is that far in the timeline, it needs to make sense why that is a reason. So
because the Mandalorian is set
so far ahead.
So other announcements, Disney Plus shows. We got the big announcement of Ms. Marvel is getting her own show. Moon Knight and She-Hulk.
Now that was very exciting. That was pretty cool.
You guys are huge Marvel fans. Are these characters that very excited that it's somebody different that we haven't done before.
Well, when I first started reading comics, got into the Avengers, it was within just a few issues She-Hulk became a member. And for those that don't know, yes, this isn't them trying, as you were telling me the other day, a lot of people you saw online, people are not happy. Oh, of course, a girl Hulk, they've got to do something.
It's the social justice warriors inserting feminism. Yeah, the comments, somebody shared some of the worst of the comments, and it was like, okay, I'm okay with it as long as there's nothing feminist about it. It's like, what do you want?
Yeah, I'm okay with the She-Hulk as long as it doesn't have any girls in it.
Right. This goes way back. I don't know what year she was introduced.
It was 70s.
Yeah, it
and
has to
much
be.
like the male Hulk, He-Hulk, as we call him.
He-Hulk?
Yeah, that's what we always call him.
Had an evolution. Like, she started out as the savage She-Hulk, and then she could control it more. So nowadays, she's in full control. She's a lawyer, and that's people who maybe don't understand. She became popular not for the Hulk part, but for the Jennifer Walters part.
Right.
People love her character, just as strong female lawyer.
Prepare the water cooler that we may gather around it later and discuss things.
Single female lawyer fighting for her client, wearing sexy mini skirts and being self-reliant. Hey, I'm pretty good.
A leader within the Avengers, was in the Fantastic Four. Just not a huge household name, but a very core part of a lot of the Marvel Universe.
Didn't she have a little different bit of, like, her personality was different when she was She-Hulk, like, in that form. She had more confidence.
Right.
Things like that. I know that originally, like, the way she became She-Hulk, Jennifer Walters, was she cousins with Bruce Banner?
Yeah, she had to get a blood transfusion.
Right, from him, yeah,
right.
so...
But she doesn't go back and forth as far as like transforming or whatever. Does she?
Sometimes she would something traumatic would happen to her, and she would lose her She-Hulk form, and then all of a sudden she's timid, and she had no confidence in things in that form.
But most popular, the 1980s John Byrne run, and then there was a run more recently that both those kind of added more humor, or she broke the fourth wall. She was a lawyer for a lot of weird, like, D-list characters in the Marvel Universe. So it was just a more fun series that Marvel didn't always have. So it's a character people really fell in love with. I'm just surprised they didn't introduce someone. Why didn't they introduce someone 8 movies ago?
Mm-hmm.
Bruce could mention a cousin from California or whatever. It just seems a little shoehorned in now. Like, you could have been, as far as Marvel plans these things. But yeah, and Ms. Marvel... Kamala Khan, for my money, is one of the best characters invented in the last 25 years. Like,
give some people some history on her. I'm excited for this.
She's came to prominence as the Pakistani American first Muslim superhero, young teen girl living in New Jersey, co-created by 2 Muslim women from New Jersey. So just her first series especially is just so true to life, and it just feels so real to modern young women dealing with very traditional home life, going to school in the mixed culture that is America, and just has a real Peter Parker feel to it, where she's she messes things up, but she tries her best, and she's plucky, and she's a go-getter, and she's a fangirl, and she writes like slash fiction for the the other Marvel characters that she grew up idolizing. So just kind of like the perfect character for today's young fan to kind of fill her shoes. And Inhuman and origin, got her powers. She can kind of morph her body. She used the word embiggen from The Simpsons, so she embiggens her fists and can punch people, stuff like that.
Which I'm interested to see how they do that. Like, is that going to look weird on a TV show?
I wondered if any of these were animated when I first saw the list.
Yeah.
They're all live action, as far as we know?
Yeah, as far as we know.
Yeah, so... Yeah, they're definitely going to have some CGI in there.
And I had seen, like, I think it was the next morning after the announcement, I was on, like, Yahoo News or something. That was the one, of course, they wrote the article about, Ms. Marvel. And I made the mistake reading through the comments. And it was the same thing. It was just immediately, why do we need Marvel Comics to have a religious character none of the other superheroes have religion, and immediately I'm like, Daredevil, Magneto was Jewish. I'm just naming. What about from the X-Men?
Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
There's only one God, ma'am, and he doesn't dress like that.
Yeah, so I was just get over it.
I don't know a lot about Moon Knight. I know he was Jewish, but
yeah.
I mean, I've read a couple in the
Mark Spector. He was kind of one of those characters whose continuity is a mess, and so they've kind of retconned that he has multiple personality disorder. So he sometimes believes himself to be a taxi driver. He's a billionaire playboy. Like, he has several different...
I'm going to have a personality disorder where I'm a billionaire playboy. That would be
That's
sweet.
a good one to have.
I know.
He got this... some trouble in Egypt and became the Egyptian god Khonshu. Was sort of... he became his emissary on Earth or something. So there's some supernatural ties to it. And there's always running through the background, okay, is this really happening, or is he imagining this? Is he going out and beating people up because he's crazy, or because he's doing the will of this Egyptian god? So there's always that through line of, is this really happening, or is it all in his head?
Right. Interesting. I will definitely be watching all of these shows, trying them out.
Yeah, and we already knew about WandaVision, but we got some details on that.
Now, I didn't see this trailer or whatever. They haven't released it for people to see, right? Mm-hmm. But we had just been talking about the Dick Van Dyke Show and stuff. But that's the vibe. Like some people are saying.
Yeah, they put a poster out.
Yeah,
and it was looked like a smoothed over Paul Bettany and Elizabeth Olsen
coming in, phasing through the Ottoman.
Well, we've got some time on that one because the WandaVision is not scheduled to debut until the spring of 21. So we've literally
I didn't realize it was that far.
15 to 18 months before that's going to happen. They also announced that Kat Dennings,
from
Randall
Thor,
Park, and Catherine Hahn were all joining the cast, and Randall Park and Catherine Hahn are both really funny when they want to be. So is Kat Dennings, I guess. But so I think this is going to have a much different vibe than sort of some of the ultra serious things that
which I'm
from the Marvel
excited
universe.
about. I like the idea of that.
And they also have an actress, Teyonah Parris, is that her name? That's playing a grown up Monica Rambeau. From Captain Marvel, right? So there's a lot going on there.
So that's the daughter of her pilot friend.
Right.
Will now be, since that movie's set in the 90s, this will be a more grown-up.
And so she'll be friends with her.
I have no idea how to tie these characters together. What does Jimmy Woo have to do with Kat Dennings and what time period are we in? But I'm going to trust them that it's just all going to make sense.
Yeah, well, there's a little online fandom for some of those off characters, like the Kat Dennings character from Thor. I've heard rumbles over the last couple of years, like people just kind of liked her and things. So I think they've heard some of that and brought him back. And then, I mean, my connection, just I always thought it was that they had Monica Rambeau because she was called Captain Marvel when she first came out, and so she was in the Captain Marvel movie. I don't know what I assume they'll call her. She's had many names. Photon. There's something else I can't remember off the top of my head, but I'm curious what they will call her when she, displays her powers. Which she would just turn into energy, correct, or light.
Yeah, she could become
and
X-rays or gamma rays, or So one of the most powerful beings in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, overly powerful.
Some other announcements on Disney Plus: Phineas and Ferb, the movie, Candace Against the Universe. I know my kids always like Phineas and Ferb. It was popular for a long time.
My nephews adored that show.
Yeah. So that'll be
So now they're old enough to have nostalgia about shows they watched growing up. Ugh.
Right, we're gonna get left in the dust.
The nostalgia loop is getting smaller and smaller.
And then the Muppets. So 2020. Yeah, the Muppets Now, short form unscripted series that will be exclusive to Disney Plus. So, I'm always happy anytime
unscripted.
Unscripted.
You should have underlined that word.
What does that mean? How are they doing that?
It's like Muppet Improv?
I guess. Yeah, that's what I took it as.
Sweet.
Yeah, anytime I see anything from the Muppets, I'm always excited.
Yeah, I love the Muppets, but I can't imagine.
I'm assuming it's going to be, in my head, I have it pictured as like a Graham Norton type show where you've got some Muppets on the couch and some random celebrities, and it's more of a chat show kind of thing.
That could be, yeah.
See, we got to get in his head. In his head, that's what it is.
That's what it is.
So, I like it. I would watch this.
Also, Lizzie McGuire spinoff. Hilary Duff's coming back. It was a popular girl show.
Hey. So I'm guessing she'll have a daughter, and they'll be like the next generation.
Oh yeah, just like they did with the Boy Meets World stuff.
Yeah. Right, similar to that. And we were just talking about her because she was in that show Younger over on TV Land right now.
Yeah,
which is still going. Yeah. So I'm sure she's getting a big chunk of money to reprise that role. And then we got some...
Because no one else is getting paid for any of this with that.
Well, I'm sure, for her to come back and do Lizzie McGuire, I think she's probably getting a little...
The Muppets just want to do it out of the kindness of their heart.
That's right.
Unscripted and unpaid.
Yeah.
Like, we're not learning lines if you're not paying them.
Also, we got some trailers for High School Musical, the series.
That's an odd title. Is there a colon in there?
Yeah, there is a colon.
There are two colons.
There are two
High School
colons.
Musical colon, the musical colon, the series.
Yeah.
Series. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's Ka-Pow's first ever dual colon property. I'm very excited.
Put in explosion sound effect right now.
Yeah, it's really setting the bar there. We already talked about the Mandalorian, Lady and the Tramp, the live action.
I watched this trailer and it was terrible.
Yeah.
This was the biggest proof that they need to stop this garbage, because Lady and the Tramp is just a staple
it's a wonderful
of your childhood.
movie. Yeah, it's a wonderful movie.
That animation is gorgeous. I love that movie when I was a kid, and then watching it turned into Homeward Bound. Just every movie is a talking dog movie right now. Mm-hmm. And A Dog's Journey, A Dog's Way Home, Art of Racing in the Rain, and this is just another one. This is like, let's see if we can get these two dogs in an alley and get them to fall in love with each other.
We'll rub some peanut butter
yeah, exactly,
on their gums.
It's like, whatever.
I don't know how they're calling these things live action. Those lions didn't talk. Those dogs are not talking. It's all CGI.
Right.
Just because you have a dog that ran out in the alley and sat down where he was supposed to, and then you morphed some words onto its mouth, I'm not sure that counts as live action.
I think what happened was when those Tim Burton Alice movies came out and had real actors, we called it live action, and then it's just stuck ever since then. So... National Geographic's The World According to Jeff Goldblum. I think we're all on board for this.
Yeah, I honestly didn't read or look at anything about this because it was such a sure thing. I'm going to watch that I was like, well, I didn't want to know.
And then just some brief notes here. Disney Plus is all subscribers access to 4 simultaneous streams and 4K and HDR high quality video. You can also create up to 7 profiles. So
that's important.
That's important. Yes.
We're all going to be sharing.
And then I believe you can also stream on 4 different devices at once.
But I would think this is more suited to family than even Hulu or Netflix.
Yeah.
Where you want certain content for the youngest viewers, and I can see why that would be important to be able to differentiate what they're watching.
Yeah, and then we also found out that the original series are not going to drop all at once. They're going to do it week by week, one episode at a time on all of these.
Oh, okay.
So you won't be able to
binge watch. People won't be able to binge.
Yeah.
That's fine with me. I don't. Yeah. I feel too much pressure to watch it before I get spoiled. So I'd much rather just go at a
and
nice
the hype all hits in one week.
Yeah.
All the reviews come out. Everyone talks about it, and then it disappears.
Yeah, and you forget about it.
So
it's like I would much rather just go week by week. I didn't see here in my pamphlet that there was another show I wanted to talk about real quick. Was the
It's in Appendix C.
I looked.
Subsection
I went
2.
through. I looked it up alphabetically and numerically. But what's the Winter Soldier and the Falcon or whatever it's called?
Oh, yeah.
This was probably the biggest announcement for me personally. Was I'm into the idea of this show because I'm such a huge Cap fan, but when I saw the announcement of U.S. Agent, I was just I can't believe that they are doing it. That I didn't think of it and wasn't complaining. Why aren't they doing this? Like, I mean, didn't you get that same vibe? Like, wow, this is such a great idea.
As soon as they announced it, your first thought was really, and then it's like that makes perfect sense. If Steve Rogers isn't Cap, they're going to fill that role, and that just makes so much sense. It's something so obvious we should have figured it out, but
and there's obviously going to be some sort of cross connection between some of those, because Wyatt Russell is listed on the IMDb page for both Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision. Cool. Obviously those are going to live in the same universe, and whether we're going to see crossovers or whatever, who knows? But clearly those are designed to sort of work in tandem with each other.
Now I don't know how much they will follow the comics, but I was saying what I hope they do it somewhat like I would think in this first season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the Falcon will not just be Captain America. He was given the shield,
right?
But he's not going to just immediately be Captain America. And in the comics, once Cap quit in the 80s, he didn't agree with what they were wanting him to do, and he quit. So they got Johnny Walker, who Wyatt Russell's playing, which I think is such an odd but great casting. I really like him. He's got Dizzy in his blood too, right. So and then. So there was a new Captain America and Bucky, and they were doing, go over the top, violent, and things like that. Meanwhile, Cap became the Captain, and that's when he originally picked up Thor's hammer. He had a black uniform with the flag across the chest and a silver shield and things. So it was more, instead of red, white, and blue, it was red, white, and black, but basically the same uniform otherwise. And then after they resolved, that storyline and he became Cap again, John Walker became U.S. Agent and wore that costume. So I don't know that they're going to go through all of that. I would assume that the government is going to place him in as a replacement for Cap, but probably immediately as U.S. Agent. They'll skip they won't have him actually be Cap. They'll have him be U.S. Agent, and there will be a clash over who's representing the American values here, and then eventually they'll get to a place where Falcon becomes Cap. But I'm excited about the storyline
because we got a poster, right? We got a little glimpse of Falcon in his new Captain America uniform.
That was just what I saw was just a thing right out of the comics. It was just a picture, like whatever you shared to us, I think.
No, it was Anthony Mackie, and
Bucky had shorter hair.
Yeah, Bucky had shorter hair.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
The only thing I had seen was somebody shared a picture, and it was straight out of the Sam Wilson Captain America comic.
I mean,
years ago.
That's what the uniform looked like in the picture I saw, though.
Okay,
was it looked like it was out of the comic?
I assume don't think he's going to start out like that. That's something you wait and like reveal later on. He shows up last episode in that or something.
And I wanted to mention real quick, they've also announced with WandaVision, it's going to tie into, the Scarlet Witch is going to tie into the new Doctor Strange movie, which is titled
the multiverses
of madness.
Yeah.
They're trying to, they did that a little bit at the end of Endgame, but they're trying to finally get across just how powerful she is.
Right.
And I would assume somewhere down the line they'll do the House of M storyline and stuff where she'll just go berserk. But
yeah,
good stuff.
But gotta say, this D23 has brought out all the comic speculators, because every single one of these characters, their first appearances are skyrocketing up the
people
eBay
are coming in
charts.
asking for them.
Yeah, that was another thing we didn't. I don't know if it's in here.
Go ahead.
But the other announcement is we knew that Kit Harington was going to be something. There were some rumors that he had been in talks. Everybody's like, he's going to be the new Wolverine, and I was like, oh, no.
Please no.
But instead, they really did some great casting here. He's going to be Dane Whitman, the Black Knight.
Yeah.
Who just, I mean, it's a little on the nose, as far as him playing a medieval knight. But I think it's still cool. I like him, and I like that character. Again, that Dane returned in right around the time I started reading, but I'd wanted to pick up one of his second appearance. I shared you guys a cover the other day. It's one of my favorite covers, and I've been meaning to pick it up for the last year or two because it's always around $50. It ain't $50 no more.
Yeah, if you want to buy affordable comics, pick a character that has not appeared in a movie yet.
Right.
But I do have to admit, in our three-way chat, we were talking about all this and Wyatt Russell, and I realized it's Kurt Russell's son.
Yeah.
I thought, did he name his son after his character from Tombstone, Wyatt Earp? I was like, oh no, he didn't. So I made a joke. I can't wait for Captain Ron Russell to show up and I was like, I need to put in a D-list Avengers character. And I almost typed Black Knight before this announcement came out. I was like, that's I'll put Dr. Druid. So, like,
you blew it.
Me thinking, what's a character they'll never put on screen?
Right.
Black Knight. No, a day later, he's announced as a starring Game of Thrones celebrity.
Captain Ron is the hero we all deserve right now.
As much as you were like saying there wasn't these big announcements, like I wasn't expecting any of this kind of stuff, so I was super hyped by these announcements they had. That's why you're like, what? I'm watching a football game. What are you sending me all these notifications? I'm like, they're announcing cool things.
Well, I think that's why they let off with Disney Plus too.
Yeah.
That was the majority of the big news was going to come out off of that. So,
and before we started, Seth didn't think this episode. He thought this episode would go long because you guys would talk too much, and he has basically dominated the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm done.
We had to get all the comic book stuff out.
Right, I've got past the first page here, and I got nothing for the rest
we have not turned the page in the packet yet.
We're still on page 1. The last thing, Justin, I'm sure you saw this, but D23 club members and attendees are getting the first shot, signing up early for Disney Plus. They get a discount. Have you signed up yet?
I'm actually not a D23 member.
Wow.
When it originally came out, everything was stuff in Anaheim, and I can't get to Anaheim nearly as much as I'd like to, so I've actually never signed up. So, but I'll be there when they let the plebeians in.
Yeah, I did. I took advantage of it myself. It's a 3-year. I
thought about it.
Yeah, for 3 years you get Disney Plus for less than $4 a month. So it cost me about $140 for 3 years. I've already paid for it. I'm good
you got
for
to
3
pay
years.
up front, though.
Got to pay up front.
That's a crazy deal.
It's a crazy deal.
It's a really great deal. Yeah.
Like it was a better deal than bundling with my Hulu subscription.
That's the reason I didn't do it, is because I don't have Hulu currently, and I was just going to do that bundle.
Yeah, I took advantage of it.
That's less than a movie at Blockbuster.
But it is, yeah, it's true.
And you don't have to drive there.
But it's a limited time. I think it's over like September the 2nd or 3rd it goes away. So hopefully this episode will be out by then. But yeah, if you want to take advantage of that, you gotta get signed up. And then I think everybody's been saying it's about a day before you get the email or notification where you can go in and sign up for the discount. So page number 2.
Actually, I had 2 more things.
Go right ahead.
Plus. Did you guys talk about What If?
Back when they originally announced it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite comic series. I have a bunch of those issues, and that's very exciting. It's animated, so that's cool.
Yeah. And the other one, there's a Forky Asks a Question series, which it sounds like just a bunch of shorts, which that could be interesting.
Yeah.
There's a Christmas movie with Anna Kendrick and Bill Hader. And
Noel.
I generally don't like Christmas movies, but I think those two are just sarcastic enough to pull it off.
And he's twice as tall as her. Yeah, so that'll look funny.
But there's a new one called Monsters at Work. It's animated. Aisha Tyler and Ben Feldman from Superstore. Apparently, he graduates from Scare School the very day that Monstropolis decides to switch from screams to laughter, and so he has to. It's like I think she plays his mom, so he has to find his way in this brave new world that he's not ready for, because all he's wanted to be since he was a little tiny monster was a scarer. And
is this animated?
This is animated.
Yeah, it's animated. So I really like those two. So I think that's going to be that's got potential to be really fun.
Yeah. I think they announced John Goodman and Billy Crystal are going to have some small parts in it. They're going to reprise their original roles with that. So so there's going to be a lot of Disney Plus coming at you.
Plus the movies, the series, the National
That's
Geographic
on the later pages.
Yeah, okay.
That's the plus.
So we're just talking original content, and then we've got the whole Disney vault
back
and all that.
Yeah, the back catalog. Then we had our parks panel. Started off the first big announcement with the parks panel was the Moana inspired over at Epcot Journey of Water. It's a walk through attraction of some sort. It's going to be over towards the seas with Nemo. I don't know how much Moana this is really going to incorporate. We've seen a picture. I don't know. I was kind of like, whatever. I don't know, Justin. What do you think?
People are saying it may end up taking the place of that Interventions building that's there on the the right side, depending on which way you're facing. So you know what? I love Moana, and I think they've got some technology they want to play with water and stuff. So I'm not. It's not going to be an e-ticket attraction, but it'll be something fun to walk through. And it sounds like there's going to be shade, and so I think anybody that's been at Epcot in the middle of the summer is going to be appreciative of that.
Anytime there's any mention of some sort of intellectual property going into especially Epcot, all the big traditional Epcot fans lose their mind.
Yeah.
And have a immediate reaction to it that's always negative. For the most part,
it was really frustrating. I was the parks panel was Sunday afternoon our time, so I'm sitting there flipping through the Twitter feed, and because of course they didn't live stream that one because that's the one that literally everybody wanted to see.
Right.
So I'm following along on the Twitter, and knowing what a big Disney fan I am, and Cliff, I'm sure you're the same way as me. There are people out there who claim to be Disney fans who are just the most angry, misanthropic people you will ever meet. Right. Anything Disney announces is wrong.
Yeah.
Every choice they make is flawed in some way. And I couldn't get to the next announcement on the Twitter stream without wading through 15 or 20. Oh, this is stupid. I'm not even going anymore. And I'm like, could you let them finish the panel, please? I'm not asking for much here.
There is so much of that.
We are an angry, bitter people.
Yes, we are. And especially, I feel like Epcot more than anything, because for whatever reason, park fans have it in their head, this vision of Epcot in 1986, and it should have never been touched, never been changed. Everything should be exactly the way it was in 1986, and everything new that comes in or anything old that goes out is just raked over the coals relentlessly till the end of time. They never let go of any of it.
Yeah.
So, on that positive note, so the big story is Epcot is coming up on their 40th anniversary and the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World as a whole. So, Epcot's going to get a lot of work. Innovations West, formerly Communicore, is going to be fully demolished. That whole side, everything is going, and like you were saying, that's going to be where this Moana water attraction is going to be. They're actually going to build a new festival center, which is in the past it's been in the old Wonders of Life pavilion. This new festival, I'm excited about this festival center. Mm-hmm. It's raised. Has you go up a flight of stairs way up into the air into this. It looks like a platform, but there's a inside to it. And then
is there a picture? Of course there is.
There's a picture.
If you refer to subsection J, line 6,
right here.
Yeah, I see.
This is the building. So if you look at it, it's got on the top layer is like a garden where. Apparently, you're going to be able to go and watch fireworks. I'm sure it's going to be some sort of dessert party.
For money, yes.
Yeah, for money. But still, that's pretty amazing. It looks futuristic. I love the look of it. So I was really excited. And like you were talking, you're going to be able to walk underneath of it. So there's going to be some relief for shade or rain or whatever. So that's going to
collapses on you.
And so that's going to be part of it. That was a big announcement. And then next page. So we've got that new in the spine. That what are they calling the new where Spaceship Earth is? What's that new section going to be called?
World Celebration. So for those of you who know Epcot, so that's the back half with the countries. That's World Showcase, and the front half of the park has been known as Future World forever. And
since
and I
1982.
Disney is very conscious of the fact that if you keep calling something future, you've got to make it futuristic, and that's kind of not where they're going. So they've renamed Future World. They've broken it up into 3 separate, they're calling them neighborhoods. So that sort of central corridor from the entrance through the golf ball, sort of down that main aisle is called World Celebration. No idea what that means.
Right.
The stuff on the west side, the Land Pavilion and the Seas Pavilion, they're calling that World Nature.
Yes.
That's sort of that the focus of that. And then the stuff on the east side on your left as you go in. So and we'll get to it, but the new Guardians coaster and Mission Space and Test Track is World Discovery. So that's sort of their focus on science and technology and those sorts of things. Yeah,
so it's definitely, as the park as a whole is going to be different, but still the same in a lot of ways. And everybody's going to throw fit, and they're still going to call it Future World for the next 20 years. Just like they still call it MGM Studios. Yep. But we're also getting over in World Showcase, it looks like they're building some sort of island for the new fireworks show. This year, in the next few weeks, we're going to get the last Epcot Illuminations. It's been around for 20-some years. A favorite for a lot of people. And then they're going to replace it with a show called Epcot Forever here in a couple months, which is going to be...
Epcot Forever is only going to last for about a year.
And it's going to focus a lot on, just like it says, Epcot Forever. Yeah, he's doing the Wakanda Forever. But it's going to be a lot of nostalgic music from the pavilions, the original pavilion music from Universal Energy and Imagination and World of Motion, things that aren't there anymore. And then we're going to get this new show with this brand new thing in the middle. They used to send out that world globe out in the center of the lagoon there, but now it looks like it's going to be a permanent island. And it is called what, Justin?
The new one is called Harmonious.
Yes.
They're saying it's going to be the largest nighttime spectacular in company history. It's all about how the music of Epcot and the Disney company inspires people all around the world.
Yeah.
I hope he doesn't call on me because I'm lost.
Yeah, that's okay.
I don't know what page we're on.
Yeah. I just answered C to everything.
So we're going to have that. You'll see kind of I think when you really look into all the changes, you kind of get their vision, their new theme of Epcot.
How far off are we from like virtual reality technology where you'll be able to plug in and walk, here's Epcot from 1982 and like go walk around in it.
Yeah. They were doing this at D23. They had I was watching some video and there was just people sitting there in rows like they're at a movie theater with VR glasses on. I don't know whether they thought they were riding a ride or what they were doing, but that was it. They weren't looking at anything. They were just sitting there.
But that's the best of both worlds. Where we've talked before about how do you keep tradition while keeping things new for new generations. So, like, if there was some way to catalog this history and have a library that people could visit,
that's pretty neat. Yeah,
cyberspace.
Ooh.
Cyberspace. Like he just coined that term.
Yeah, that's a new
good job.
Hey, we're talking about the future land.
The future world.
As he just complained about people being sticklers.
And then what else we got? The Odyssey. Used to be the Odyssey restaurant, isn't it? I believe here in October it's going to open up an exhibit showing what's coming to Epcot. Because a lot of this, the 50th anniversary in 2021 is going to be here pretty before we know it, and these projects aren't going to be done yet. So they're going to have kind of a preview center with some video screens. They had a piece of art on display there for Epcot that was kind of a map. It showed some of the new things they're working on, but it was in the traditional Epcot logo from 1982 that they're bringing back now. That's going to be on display there at the Odyssey. It's a great place to check out an old bathroom there too at the Odyssey.
Number what? What number is that on?
Oh gosh, I don't remember. I think it was like 6 or 7 on the list. And so the which is a cool thing. I'm glad they're going to do something with the Odyssey. It may not be permanent, but yeah, get some people over there. I remember going there as a kid and to the old restaurant, and it's a really neat location right there on the water. It's right in between Mexico and the bridge to World Showcase. So
Mexico is one of the first ones.
Yeah, it is the first one on the, like, if you're walking from Spaceship Earth on the left. So that's a whole discussion. You know, you want to know what type of what kind of park goer somebody is. You ask them, Epcot or Canada. So which way do you go first? Do you go to Canada?
Yeah.
To the right, or do you go to Mexico on the left? I'm a Mexico guy.
Yeah.
Justin?
I'm a Mexico guy.
Yeah. So yeah.
I can picture it. Yeah, you know, like that. We went that way when last time I was there.
Also, we're getting some old pavilion logos. It's a silly thing. They're retro logos. They've designed some new ones for new attractions. Things like the new Space Restaurant, Space 2020, and the Guardians Coaster. That's what these are. Right. Back in the day, Epcot pavilions, they're looking at pictures here. I know you guys are listening. But back in the day, you identified your pavilion with a symbol. It was just a neat thing. It was always part of Epcot, and eventually, over the years, it went away as pavilions went away.
Yeah, I saw they were selling a bunch of collector pins of these different symbols and things.
Yeah. So, believe it or not, something as trivial and silly as pavilion emblems, logos, gets Disney fans really excited.
Oh,
so,
it doesn't surprise me a bit. I have that terrible collector gene,
yeah,
you know, and so even just watching a video of things like that, I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not into this, because I would have to have all that stuff.
Yeah, and when you see them together, you know, all their distinct colors, and when they put them in that order, it looks like a rainbow.
Yeah,
and they have coordinated those, what they call neighborhoods now. So like the nature world, nature, all the emblems are in like a green or a blue hue, and then over in the Discovery, they're all reddish. So they had coordinated them.
They had pins for droids. There was like a pin set, or it must have been. Oh, there's probably 30 of them or something, and it was $150 or something. It was a really good price. You know that people are going to make $1 billion off of those sets.
Yeah,
from exclusively getting them there and stuff.
And one of the last things I had is Spaceship Earth. Justin, you want to talk a little bit about what's happening?
So Spaceship Earth, or the golf ball, forever and a day, the theme of that ride has always been communication, and it sort of traces the development of written and spoken communication. You know, we were cavemen and we were painting stuff on the walls, but then when we moved, we left all the art behind, and then, you know, the Phoenicians developed language, and then we got to the printed word, and then we got to the digital age, and that's been fantastic. But they are revamping it. Spaceship Earth is going to be closed down for like a year and a half.
They're going to replace all the track, because it's got the original 82 track in it.
But they're changing the focus from communication to storytelling, with that being the sort of theme that's going to bring everybody together. So we know we can communicate, but what is it that we communicate? Well, we tell stories. And this theme of storytelling now is going to be the new narrative, and it's going to be what ties the whole thing together. And it's the thing that I'm actually the most excited about is they are redesigning the exit of Spaceship Earth, which, if you remember right now, you get off the little train and you're sort of kind of dumped out in this area, and there's a bunch of huge screens and some virtual reality stuff that doesn't really make much sense, and most people just run right through it. They are redeveloping it into something called Dreamer's Point, and it's supposed to be a little bit more reflective, and there's going to be some shade, something called a wishing tree. I have no idea what that is.
It's illuminated, the tree itself.
It looks like it's going to be some kind of interactive thing. But they're also adding, and this is for all the Disney nerds, a new statue of Walt. And it's Walt sort of as an older guy, so, early to mid-60s. And he's just sort of sitting on the ground, sort of staring out toward the back of the park, which, as you know, Epcot was sort of Walt's dream. I mean, that's what, he built the park, and then as soon as the park was done, he turned his attention to this Epcot, this community of tomorrow. And it's a little different now than because he envisioned people actually living there, centers of commerce and industry and trade and all this sort of thing. And now we've got a frozen log ride, but that's okay. But it's just sort of Walt kind of just sitting there, kind of elbows on his knees, just sort of staring at what he created. And if it comes off as well as I'm hoping it is, it's it'll be the most photographed thing in the entire park.
That pause there, I thought you were going to say frozen head.
Yeah, so the piece of artwork for this statue was...
We can retire now. That was good.
It took me back a little bit. Like, I really like it, the concept art for this. And it looks like it's going to be accessible, possibly. We'll see. But at least in the picture, it looks like, you may be able... He's sitting there on the steps, and you may be able to...
Is that life size? Like, can you guys sit next to him? Or is it like Lincoln Memorial? Is like giant?
Well, I think it's...
I'm hoping it's 30 feet tall. That he'll rise up and...
He's going to tower over Spaceship Earth. But yeah, I mean, this is getting some criticism because, like we said, people are like, oh, this isn't Walt's dream. It never was. This isn't what Epcot was supposed to be. Well, this is the Epcot we got. And this is, in my opinion, is long overdue.
You can interpret that different ways. It doesn't mean that he's looking out and he's like satisfied.
Yeah,
I like the idea of, like, as they're talking about communicating and telling the evolution of how things are going to change. Like, he might be looking out, still waiting for as it transforms constantly over the years. He will always be watching and enjoying the metamorphosis of his dream.
And I love that this section of the park, they're talking about lush gardens, that wishing tree. There's going to be a new fountain because they're going to tear out the old Fountain of Nations, which is, a giant fountain. It's been there since the beginning. But they're going to put in a new fountain with some water and color effects, kind of a world of color like they have out in Anaheim. That's going to be there. And then this amazing statue. I love this. And like you were talking, just the simple fact that Epcot has no shade. That park, I mean, on a hot day is just, it will fry you. And they're putting all this greenery out in the front of the park. They're transforming it as we speak. They're adding green space to it. They're going to return the original fountain that used to be in front of Spaceship Earth. They're adding back the crystal or whatever spires to it right now. It's going to be done soon. I love the fact that today's Imagineers, I think one of the biggest criticisms they get is not respecting the past of the parks. They're always, new stuff. Well, we're getting new stuff, but they're bringing back a lot of old inspiration in the new stuff, and I love that. So I'm all for it. I think Epcot definitely since the mid-90s has needed a lot of change, and
I agree.
That we haven't gotten. And this is, anything they want to do to improve it, make it prettier. I used to tell my wife when we were walking into Epcot all the time, I love to look at it. I love the feel as I walk in because I hear that music and it takes me. everything everybody complains about. It takes me back to the 80s, and I love that about it. It reminds me of when I was a kid and walking through there with my grandparents and all that nostalgia stuff. That's great, but it looks dated. The bottom line is it looks dated, and it needs touched. It needs updated. All this stuff happening. They're going to do some work over in World Showcase on top of all this new Future World stuff. We got an announcement. They're gonna add a cherry tree lane section to the UK pavilion. It's going to have some sort of Mary Poppins a ride attraction. We don't know yet. Carousel. I don't know exactly, but something is coming there.
Oh, I hope all the cast members have terrible British accents.
That would be pretty sweet. Yeah. They could
I could interest you in a Mickey bar, can I?
They did bring Dick Van Dyke out for the announcement of this new update to the UK pavilion, and at 93, he was still one of the most interesting people on the stage the entire parks thing that they did.
Yeah.
He still got it. He's still amazing.
And then also back there, they announced a couple changes in some of the films. Canada, which I love the Canada film. My family loves that with Martin Short. Mm-hmm. It's been closed down now. We're going to get a new movie called Canada Far and Wide. It's going to be actual real Circle Vision 360. So if you remember the old movie, it was a 360 theater, but the images that were 180 degrees in front of you were the same behind you. But they called it 360 because it was all the way around you. So this is going to be actual real 360. We're also getting China is getting Wondrous China and a new. The quote is a spectacular journey across China, filmed and presented in completely seamless 360-degree digital format. So we're getting that over there. I mentioned the new Space 2020 restaurant. That's going to open, I believe, in December this year.
Winter of 2019. Yes.
Yeah, my wife, I guess she hadn't heard about that one. She looked at me the other day. We were watching something, and she goes, that's going to be open in December? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, hello? Why don't we have a reservation for this? And I was like, I don't know. So we've got that, and then... of course, we already knew about the new Ratatouille ride coming to the France Pavilion. And we're getting a creperie over there, restaurant, or a quick service, I assume. And then I believe is France getting a new movie too? No, they're getting the Beauty and the Beast sing-along.
Yeah, it's going to be a double feature. So it's going to be Impressions de France, the original movie that they have, and then there's this Beauty and the Beast sing-along that's going to play together with it.
Okay.
A friend of mine just was there and said they went to the Frozen sing-along and said it was absolutely hilarious. So it's the regular characters, but then there's like a narrator type character that comes out and tells jokes. And
have you never been to the Frozen sing-along?
No, neither one of us had it. So
really,
yeah. Because it's Frozen. It's sing-along. I'm like, how many more times can I hear these songs? But now I hear that there's whole new stuff.
I was clutching my pearls over here.
Apostasy.
No, it's a really surprisingly well done show.
Be careful, he might disconnect you.
So yeah, you need to go see that show.
It's now on the list. So
okay, and then we also mentioned the Guardians.
Hey Cliff.
Yeah.
Let it go.
I guarantee that's all he knows about Frozen. He knows that one line.
You're earning your money over there.
And then we got the Guardians coaster. What do we know about the Guardians coaster now?
They gave it the official name. It's now Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind. It's taking up the entire building of the old Ellen's Energy Adventure and a massive new building that's been under construction for a while. They announced that it's going to have, quote, a reverse launch. Mm-hmm. No other details. We don't know what the ride vehicle is going to look like yet. We don't know what the theming of it is going to be, other than it's the Guardians and something goes wrong. But yeah, they announced it's going to have a reverse launch. So yeah, we'll figure out what that is later.
They're describing this as a storytelling coaster. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much storytelling you can get when you're going 40 miles an hour through a dark building.
My guess is the story comes in the hour and 30 minutes that you stand in line before you get to the coaster part.
It's all in the queue. Okay. We talked about Harmonious. The next thing I have is the new Star Wars hotel.
Yeah.
So this is going to be called, we found out it's going to be called Star Wars : Galactic Starcruiser. And this is not what I thought it was going to be. It's.
I didn't even look after I saw the price.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is. I can't. I'm interested to hear what it is, but I quit looking after I saw how much it was.
Justin, you're a big cruiser. Is that what you would compare it to?
Once I figured out where they were going with it, it started to make a little bit more sense. But I was honestly thrown a little bit. So they're building this Star Wars hotel. They announced that some time ago. We've known that it's coming. So essentially, they are creating a cruise on land. So they have this Galactic Starcruiser. They're calling it the Halcyon. That's the name of the ship. All of the passengers, the guests, the passengers, it's a 2-day, 2-night stay. That's your option. That's your only option. Mm-hmm. And you will all arrive together and depart together, just like you were getting on and off an actual cruise ship. So you show up at the hotel, you park your car in the parking lot or whatever, and then there's some sort of pod that launches you from wherever you are in Florida up into space to this Galactic Starcruiser, where you check in and you're taken to your cabin. All of the windows are screens that are going to show you wherever you are in the voyage that you're taking. The place is going to be filled with characters, the crew, your fellow passengers, etc., and every interaction that you have with them, according to Disney, is going to affect the story of your cruise. Now,
we heard that about
the
other thing, though, and it didn't turn out to be quite that in-depth.
Well, they're saying you're only going to go to Batuu, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, one time on this during this program.
Your port day. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whatever. I lived there for that amount of money.
That's what I found strange. I was like, one time?
Anyway, go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so there are going to be like onboard activities of some sort. The one that they teased was that both kids and adults alike are going to be able to train with a lightsaber and one of those little remote snitch droid things that shoots lasers at Luke in A New Hope.
That would be a way to like help with the overcrowding if half the people who go there are locked in a room they can't get out of.
Yeah,
it's like you guys have to stay inside.
Kind of what it sounds like. Yeah. So you can go in. They said you could go into the working areas of the ship and take over the controls, and they kind of tease that if you know how the lasers on the thing work, that might come in handy because something is going to go wrong, and I'm kind of curious to see how that's all going to work. But they're saying that there might be like blacked out buses to take you from like your transport
the hotel
from your cruise ship to your port day at Batuu. They were talking about these hidden places on the ship where you can meet with other people and plan secret stuff. But the scariest thing I think for a lot of people is that a cabin on this cruise ship that's going to sleep 5 people for 2 days and 2 nights. They're saying it's going to be about $3,300. Yeah. I think that's going to end up pricing a lot of people out of this experience. Now, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. It's going to include food, like while you're on the ship, just like any other cruise would do, and all of the entertainment and things like that. But you got to get to Florida. You got to, most people aren't going to go to Florida just for these 2 days. So you got to figure someplace else out to stay, tickets to the theme park, all of this other expense. And I'm not, I'm not sure how I'm not sure who their target audience is other than people with too much money.
Well, if you have ever met a Star Wars fan, they will spend money on collectibles and Star Wars merchandise before they will buy food and rent and stuff. So they will, the most hardcore among us will find a way.
I'm also curious how they're going to how they're going to deal with. So you're on your 2-day cruise and you have your port day at Batuu.
Yeah.
So you're going to take all these people to Batuu, but everybody who's just there at the park is going to be in Batuu too. So are you going to be like separated from those people?
I think you're going to be in a group. I think you're going to be in a group and probably some sort of guided tour, doing some special things and getting probably front of the line access to, the attractions and that type of thing.
Yeah.
So
that's my guess too.
Yeah. We also, I know we talked a lot of Marvel stuff, but we haven't talked about Avengers Campus coming to, here in the States, it's coming to over to the Disneyland Resort, where we already have the converted Tower of Terror into Guardians Mission Breakout's going to be part of this land. It's going to come in 2 phases, they're saying now. Going to get that Spider-Man attraction in phase 1, and as well as the Ant-Man.
The web thing.
Yeah. They've already got. I've seen merchandise already in the parks for this stuff.
I saw that stuff. There's just shirts and things. And,
yeah.
So
we're getting the Spider-Man attraction.
It stands for something. Web stands for something.
I've heard it 5 or 6 times.
Worldwide Engineering Brigade.
There you go.
There's a PIM test kitchen too.
Yeah, which they're talking about. I think it's going to be like really big. They showed a really big pretzel that's been enlarged, or different things that have been shrunk,
embiggened.
Isn't that kind of crazy though to think of that? Like
that Hank Pym is famous enough to
make it
float an entire land.
Yeah, like I can't even fathom that. That blows my mind.
Says visitors can expect to encounter Black Widow, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Iron Man, as well as superheroes from Wakanda and Asgard. So the phase 2 is going to include some sort of Avengers ride, which looks to be partly like we were talking about. You were talking about people sitting in some sort of ride vehicle with like VR headsets or something on. They're talking about that. Could be part of the new Avengers ride. We're just speculating at this point, but that's going to be, you're going to board a Quinjet. Is going to be your ride vehicle for a epic adventure to Wakanda and beyond. So that's going to come down the line. We don't have dates yet for any of that.
And Florida is still barred from the Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Due to their Universal Studios contract.
That's correct.
Due to Isaac Perlmutter selling the theme park rights back in the day to keep them afloat. So, yeah. As of right now, no Disney World. And then, I don't know, I mean, you being the Marvel guys you are, does that give you a little inkling? Like, hey, I want to go to Disneyland to see this when it's done.
How long is this contract thing like? How long are they never going to be able
to do it? There's no ending date on it. It's forever until maybe they buy it out one day, which, Universal isn't going to give that up easily. So
I don't see me making the trip.
Finally, let's talk about some Disney legends. New Disney legends. So this year, a few names on the list were Jon Favreau, Diane Sawyer, Robert Downey Jr., Christina Aguilera, who, if you don't know, was on the Mickey Mouse Club back in the 90s.
Yeah, but are they just going to pretend that Genie in a Bottle didn't happen?
Well, no. I mean, she did reflections for Mulan.
They won't be playing the lyrics to that song in Disneyland, will they?
I don't know, maybe. Bette Midler, Robin Roberts, James Earl Jones, and Ming-Na Wen. And then I made some notes down here. Barnett Ricci, if I'm saying that correctly, she was more than 40 years working in the parks. She was a choreographer at Disneyland, directed several of the parades. Worked at the grand opening of Walt Disney World, Epcot, Tokyo Disneyland, and she's the creator of Fantasmic, the Nighttime Spectacular show, which you can find at Disneyland. And then also Disney's Hollywood Studio in Florida. And Tokyo Disney Sea, apparently. I didn't realize they had Fantasmic. Hans Zimmer, more than 160 projects, combined total of more than $28 billion he has made for the company, 1 Academy Award, 2 Golden Globes, 3 Grammys, and a Tony Award. Legacy creating scores for Disney films, including The Lion King, Iron Man, and Pirates of the Caribbean, or Caribbean as we say. And then Kenny Ortega, who was says dancing in musicals. He was known for films such as Hocus Pocus. He did the 2014 short making of Frozen. And then he's known for High School Musical, the original High School Musical, Cheetah Girls 2, Disney Channel show, or movie, and Descendants, which is really popular right now, which is now on their 3rd movie. And then Wing Chow, which was designed multiple projects for parks and resorts over the years. He once served as vice president of Disney Parks and Resorts for Asia Pacific Development, also executive vice president of Disney Imagineering during his tenure. So they're your new Disney legends. And then we have movies. A couple movies that they talked about. They announced Raya and the Last Dragon, Cassandra Steele and Awkwafina set to star, inspired by the culture of Southeast Asia. And the film will hit theaters in November 2020. Also Soul, which is going to be a Pixar film. I've seen the logo for this a while back. They announced some cast, plot details about it. Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey are announced as the cast, and Jamie Foxx is going to be the lead character Joe, a jazz musician and middle school band teacher. We don't know about Tina Fey yet. Daveed Diggs, I can't even talk tonight. Felicia Richard and Questlove have also joined the cast. Feature original music and a score from Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. So that's interesting. And then we got a first look at Cruella, which is old Gwen Stacy herself. And Emma Stone, just a picture of her in costume. We knew this was coming up, slated for May 28th, 2021 release.
Was it like an origin story, how she became evil? Okay.
An actual live-action Disney film, not a CGI film. Or I'm sure there will be some CGI in it, though. And then Black Panther 2 was announced. Kevin Feige and Ryan Coogler came out to announce that, which we had all speculated. We knew after Black Panther was such a huge hit that it was going to spark another movie. Justin, where does Black Panther rank for you? Is it pretty high?
I really enjoyed it. Obviously I don't have the familiarity with that character as I do with sort of the main ones from the Avengers side of things, but I thought the movie itself was really well done. And for what it's worth, you guys talk all the time about how representation matters, and that's a huge plus for me is to have some superheroes that don't look like all the other superheroes that we've seen for most of our lives.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it, and it was funny. It was just really well made. I enjoyed it a lot.
And then finally, Lucasfilm dropped some new footage, the sizzle reel they called it, from The Rise of Skywalker.
We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
What'd you think of that?
I don't know. Like,
I think, hot take here.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stupidest looking lightsaber I've ever seen. I have not heard anybody complain online. I haven't seen a tweet other than the Swiss Army knife thing, but it's like, when it looks like it's a flip phone of lightsabers.
I thought that was kind of weird. Like, if you're going to have a double
we've
bladed,
already seen Darth Maul's awesome way of doing it. So why would you have one that flipped out like that?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
Why did C-3PO have red eyes? I want to know that.
Well, who knows what the hell he's smoking? But I thought that was really dumb, even though it just looks like it's going to be just a vision or whatever she's having.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was it did its job. It was surprising.
Yeah, I mean, it was. I'm glad I like the idea of the dark ray and if her entertaining the thought or whatever, but that was a dumb idea for a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
Okay. Jordan? Yeah.
It's just Star Wars. That's his motto.
Just Star Wars.
Don't get too excited. Just Star Wars.
I like the new poster.
Yeah. I'm super hyped for the movie. Trust me.
I like the new poster. That fight scene on the water, I thought, that looks
bring
cool.
It. I'm ready.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
I'm all for that. So now that we've completed our booklet, let me grab the test. No. Yeah, I mean, it was D23. There was some good stuff. Some stuff I'm excited about. Some stuff I'm like, okay, I knew that was coming. So next year, or not next year, but the year after, in 2 years, I'm sure we'll have a boots on the ground correspondent, Justin Lowe. I'm sure he'll be out there in Anaheim for D23. He's going to sign up to become a member. So
I have to talk to management about that one, but yeah, that would be nice.
Anything else you want to add about D23? What did we miss?
The only other thing that I had notes on here, and this isn't going to affect too many people because it's not going to come out until late next year, but for those of us who travel regularly to Walt Disney World, they are introducing something called the Disney Genie. It's a new app. I think they were a little vague on some of the details, but it's going to be, you're going to be able to use it to plan out your Disney vacation. Mm-hmm. Now, of course, the online community hates this because they hate everything. But it sounds like you're going to be able to go into this app and say, okay, I want to have an adventure day with my daughter. And it's going to give you some princess things, and it's going to give you something and some suggestions so that you can maximize the fun that you're going to have. My feeling is I'm probably not going to use it too much because I kind of know what I want to do and sort of how to, work the system to get me what I want. But there's a lot of people who don't have that knowledge or don't have me as a Facebook friend and can just ask them that. So I think it's going to be really helpful for folks who aren't, crazy Disney people who know every tip, trick, hint, and hack in the world, who just want to go to Disney and have a good time with their family. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it's actually going to work.
Yeah, so they're saying also like it will possibly even schedule your fast passes if you want it to.
Yep, fast passes, dining reservations, all that sort of thing. So it's and again, it's not going to come out till late next year sometime. So we'll see what happens when it happens.
Right.
The other big thing.
My first reaction to that though, when they announced it, was I have been using touringplans.com for years, and this just seems like an evolution. I hate to say that because there are some really good people running touringplans.com that do some amazing things with crowds and predicting and lines and wait times and park planning. I love everything they do. Like, I would encourage you, until this app comes out at least, and we see what it is, if you need help planning, if you're not sure, what to do, how to schedule things, go check out, spend the $13 or whatever it is over at Len Testa's touringplans.com. Listen to his podcast, over in Jim Hill Media. It comes out every Monday. It's a great show. Len has been doing Disney podcasts for as long as there have been Disney podcasts. And yeah, I really hope that Disney doesn't take down Touring Plans with this app, because they're amazing. So
yeah. Yeah, Disney's in a really weird place right now. They're having open fights with some of their fan podcasting people. There's a specific podcaster who has, quote unquote, broken some news that has turned out not to be correct, and he kind of got a little salty about it. And somebody either at Disney or associated with Disney kind of took a shot at him about being wrong all the time. And it's this weird. People are silly.
Yeah, sometimes he brings it on himself, though.
He does.
Let's be honest.
The other piece of news that I was really excited about was they finally announced the name of the 5th Disney Cruise Line ship. Obviously, there are 4 in existence now. We know that they're getting 3 new ones. Ship 5 is going to be the Disney Wish, coming out in 2022. And they did a really nice thing celebrating Disney's partnership with the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and that Disney is the largest wish granting company on the planet, 130,000 or so to date, and growing every day. But they also brought out Joe Rohde, who's an Imagineer who worked on the Animal Kingdom and a number of other things. Disney has now acquired part of one of the islands down in the Bahamas, much like Castaway Cay, their private island that they already have. But they're going to turn this place called Lighthouse Point into a second sort of private island stop for the Disney Cruise Lines, because they're not going to be able to go to Castaway Cay each and every day if they're going to end up with 7 ships.
Right.
And Joe Rohde's a fantastic Imagineer. He talked a lot about conservation efforts and utilizing local artists and storytellers and weavers and all this sort of thing. And some of the concept art for this place really, really looks amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that in 3 years when that ship hits the water.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's going to be a little larger than the Fantasy, right? The Fantasy and the Wonder, is it?
Dream and Fantasy.
Yeah, Dream and Fantasy.
Are the new ones. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit bigger than those, they're saying. So, yeah, that was D23, guys.
Yeah. Nice quick recap.
Yeah. Got through it.
Well, we definitely appreciate you joining us, helping us sort all that out, Justin.
Yep, anytime. Love talking Disney.
Alrighty, so that'll wrap it up for today. So be sure and check us out on all the social media regular spots, 5 stars on iTunes, and the blah, blah, blah. My name is Jordan Lowe.
And the blah, blah, blah. My name is Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com.